I am 87 years old. I live alone. And if we are being honest with each other, I am likely stronger than you are at 25. I do not mean I can lift more weight than you. I do not mean I can run faster than you. I mean that my foundation is solid, while yours is cracking under the weight of a world you cannot control. When you wake up, your heart immediately starts racing. You reach for your phone before you even open your curtains. You invite the chaos, the anger, and the noise of a billion strangers into your bed before your feet even touch the floor. You're already running a race you cannot win. I used to do that. For 40 years, I started my day with anxiety. I treated the morning like an enemy I had to defeat, and it almost killed me. Now I wake up to silence, and in that silence, I found the secret to a life that actually lasts. These are the 5 habits that saved me, not just my body, but my soul. Let me tell you about the mistake you are making right now. It is a mistake called urgency, and it is the silent killer of your generation. When I was 30, I thought time was money. I treated sleep like a debt I had to pay off as quickly as possible. I drank 3 cups of coffee before 8 a.m. I read the newspaper, which is just the old version of scrolling through Twitter, getting angry at politicians who didn't know I existed. I rushed my breakfast. I rushed my commute. I rushed my life. I told myself I was being productive. I told myself I was building a future. But the body does not know the difference between ambition and fear. To your nervous system, that morning rush feels like you are being hunted by a predator. I lived in a state of chronic inflammation, not of the joints, but of the mind. I see young people today, and you look tired, deeply tired. You have dark circles under your eyes, not from a lack of sleep, but from a lack of peace. You are burning your engine so hot that the parts are melting. I learned this the hard way at 65. I was sitting at my desk and my chest tightened. It felt like an elephant was sitting on my ribs. Later, the doctor told me, "You have been running a sprint for 40 years. It is time to walk." That was the shift. I realized that if I wanted to see my 80s, I had to stop trying to beat the sun. I had to start rising with it. Here is what I do now. And I warn you, it is harder than it sounds. Habit number 1, the first hour of silence. When I wake up, usually around 5:30, I do not turn on a screen. I do not turn on the radio. I do not speak to anyone. You are terrified of silence. That is why you put headphones in the moment you step out the door. That is why you need a podcast playing just to wash the dishes. You are afraid of what your own mind will say if you give it a quiet room. But silence is where you calibrate your compass. For the first 60 minutes, I simply exist. I look out the window. I watch the light change on the trees. I let my brain wake up slowly, without force. If you check your phone first thing in the morning, you are letting the world dictate your mood. You are giving away your power. I keep the world out. This lowers my cortisol. It protects my blood pressure. It reminds me that I am the captain of this ship and I decide where we sail today. Habit number 2, respecting the machine. After the silence, I move, but not like you. I see young men at the gym lifting heavy weights, tearing their muscles, grunting in pain, checking themselves in the mirror. They want to look good. I want to feel good. There's a massive difference. I spend 20 minutes stretching. I assume you don't stretch. You think you are immortal. You think your back will never give out and your knees will always work. I treat my body like a vintage car that needs to be warmed up in the winter. I rotate the ankles. I stretch the spine. I do simple bodyweight squats, holding onto the kitchen counter if I need to. I tell my body, "We are going to use you today. Please be ready." This gentle movement pumps the lymphatic system. It clears out the toxins that settled during the night. It isn't about building biceps. It is about building longevity. If you don't oil the hinges, the door eventually falls off. Once the mind is calm and the body is warm, I introduce the shock. Habit number 3, the cold truth. I take a warm shower to wash, but I finish with 30 seconds of freezing cold water. At 87, this is not pleasant. It never gets easy. Every single morning I look at the handle and I hesitate. But that hesitation is exactly why I do it. You seek comfort in everything: heated seats, air conditioning, soft beds, delivery apps so you don't have to walk to a store. We have become too soft. The cold water wakes up my nervous system like a lightning bolt. It forces me to take a deep, gasping breath. It reminds me that I can endure discomfort. If I can handle the freezing water at 7 a.m., I can handle a rude neighbor, a late check, or a lonely afternoon at 3 p.m. It builds a callus over the mind. It tells me that I am still alive and I can still feel. Habit number 4, fuel, not entertainment. Then I eat. But I see how you eat. You eat for pleasure. You eat for dopamine, sugar, fried dough, chemicals wrapped in bright plastic. You treat your body like a garbage can, and then you wonder why you feel like trash by noon. I treat mine like a temple. I eat the same thing almost every morning: oatmeal, 2 eggs, fruit, black coffee, simple, boring, effective. I chew slowly. I do not watch TV while I eat. I taste the food. When you live alone and when you are old, you realize that food is the only medicine that truly works day to day. What you put in your mouth in the morning determines if you will crash at 2 p.m. I don't have the energy to waste on a sugar crash. I need steady fuel to keep this old heart beating. The first 4 habits are for the body, but the 5th habit, this is for the soul. And honestly, it is the most important one. Habit number 5, memento mori. Every morning with my coffee, I write down one thing in a small notebook. I write down the fact that I might not see the evening. It sounds morbid to you. It sounds depressing. You think death is a distant rumor that only happens to other people. I know death is a neighbor waiting on the porch. I have outlived my wife. I have outlived my brothers. I have outlived my best friends. By acknowledging that this day could be my last, I change how I live it. I don't waste the morning being angry at the news. I don't waste it worrying about money I can't take with me. I ask myself, if this is the last Tuesday I ever get, how do I want to spend it? This gives me a clarity that you do not have. It makes the coffee taste better. It makes the sunlight look brighter. It makes me pick up the phone and call my grandson just to hear his voice. You spend your mornings rushing because you think you have forever. I spend my mornings slowing down because I know I don't. And in that slowness, I find health. I am 87. My skin is wrinkled. My steps are slow. But my mind is clear, and my heart is light. You do not have to wait until you are 80 to learn this. You do not have to wait for a heart attack to slow down. Stop rushing. Embrace the silence before the world wakes up. Move your body with love, not aggression. And remember that the morning is a gift, not a burden. If you want to learn how to live before it is time to die, then you are in the right place. I have many more stories to tell. Join us, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.